This is one of the most anticipated pairs of Air Jordan 4 sneakers this year, and this is my first time unboxing it and seeing this shoe in person. I wanted to give you guys my first real impressions before I actually threw them on feet and reviewed them, and I'm excited. I'm really excited. So this shoe actually releases pretty soon. I think it was thought that this shoe was supposed to release in July, but I've heard from my sources that it's actually releasing on the 15th of June through the sneakers app. So we'll see if that actually ends up being the case. I think it might be because, well, Nike told me. But either way, I grabbed this shoe for resale because I wanted to give you guys a full early review. So here's the box. Let me tell you, this box is pretty wild. Now what's crazy about this shoe is that currently you can buy this shoe for under retail, so I've made sure to link it through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen, which is surprising for a pair of Air Jordan 4s. That's not usually the case with Air Jordan 4s. But this shoe, although it's probably one of the most hyped up 4s of the year, still going for under retail. We saw it with the Vivid Sulfurs, and now we're seeing it with the Oxidized Greens. I will say though that this box, pretty clean. You've got this sort of candy coat paint on it, this really nice greenish color, I guess oxidized green. It's funny because the paint actually looks like the crystallization that's happening on my Air Jordan 1s right now. Probably from oxidation. Every time I see it, I get bummed out. Look at that. And then, then look at this. It's very similar. It's really bad too, and the thing is you can wipe it away. Oh wow, it really comes off in your finger. That's crazy. That's such a bummer. I don't know what to do about that, but it is a brand new pair of Air Jordan 1s that I've had since 2016 that I won on the sneakers app, and unfortunately, now it's crystallized. But hey, either way, here are the new sneakers. Let me get the crystals off my fingers so they don't ruin the new shoes. You've got the Jumpman in this matte white on the top with the flight text underneath. You've got like really just more of this green color, this sort of gloss green around the box, except the edges are actually matte. I wonder if it's because it's a coating or finish that they couldn't do on the corners. I don't know, or maybe that's just a stylistic choice. I have no idea, but either way, you've got matte edges, this beautiful glossy green color around the rest of the box. And then on the front of the box, you've got the size tag. I grabbed a size 9.5 because that was the cheapest size that I could find. And it still fits. I have other pairs of 9.5 Air Jordan 4, so I know what the sizing is gonna be like. It's about the top of the box, sort of the same sort of oxidized green or like forest green color. They smell like sneakers. There they are, the Oxidized Green Air Jordan 4s. Pretty clean shoe, I don't mind these. Wow, the leather actually looks nicer in person than I thought they would. I don't know if it's actually decent leather, but it looks nice. You know, these remind me of those, I don't remember what they were called, the blue, like, higher quality 4s from 2013, 2012. I need to find the exact name of those shoes, but they remind me of that a little bit because you've got this, this leather wing area here, this leather heel tab, and then of course this sort of like 3D plasticky Jumpman. I mean, these are actually really clean. I actually really dig these. You've got this sort of cream midsole. I won't do a full review on these shoes now because I want to rock them for a little bit, get some B-roll, do things like that, but all around, genuinely pretty impressed and actually pretty surprised that they're going for under retail. I mean, I didn't buy these for under retail. I bought these for like $280, I think, which is still not terrible, but if you're willing to wait, you could probably get these shoes for under retail, and it might be worth it because these shoes are pretty clean. But yeah, let me throw these guys on feet and give you guys a full review of the Oxidized Green Air Jordan 4s. Got a new pair of shoes to show you. What do you think of these?
Oh, nice.
Do you like it better than the military blue 4s that just dropped?
It's just different. I like
different.
them
Okay.
kind of the same.
Not as good, but different.
They kind of
look
the same. I like them the same.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try these guys on. I'm assuming that they'll fit true to size. Now, these are a size 9.5. I usually go with a size 9, but size 9.5 was just so much cheaper when I bought it for resale, so I grabbed size 9.5. But I do have other pairs of Air Jordan 4s that are 9.5 that fit the same as this. That's my guess. I don't know. I haven't tried this on yet, but I'm assuming 9.5 is gonna fit like all my other 9.5. So we're gonna try this on. I'll give you guys sizing recommendations from that. I got my full green fit on too. I don't know if you noticed.
I was gonna say,
Got
except for the hat.
Yeah, the hat actually matches with the pants.
Ah,
So
I see.
actually, speaking of the hat, good call out on that. You didn't even realize I was going to do this, but the hat is dropping this Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, apothecary.com, along with the green and black hat, along with the military blue 4 socks, which I'm not wearing because they wouldn't match with these shoes, but still.
Careful.
All right, so on feet, these fit just like all my other 9.5 Air Jordan 4s. So I'm assuming these fit true to size. If I were to grab these, I'd probably go with a size 9 because that's my true size, and I think these fit just a tad bit too big, like a 9.5 would. So I'd recommend going true to size if you're grabbing these shoes, but the good news is that they shouldn't be too hard to get, so worst case scenario, you should be able to try them on in the store. Or if you buy them online, buy them from Nike, you can return them. There you go. So with the full fit, what do you give them out of 10?
I like them, and they remind me of the Eagles.
Oh, okay. Well, the Ravens. I screwed that up, it's fine.
I like that I could wear them with my Eagles gear, so 8.
They might hit the outlet, so maybe I'll get you an outlet pair in a couple months.
Sheesh.
Eagle season isn't for another 100 days, according to their Instagram. So you got some time.
But who's counting?
Yeah, but who's counting? Yeah. Cool. An 8. That's a solid score. I'd probably give them around an 8 too. I think compared to the other 4s that have dropped this year that are like OG 4s, I definitely prefer those to these. But these are a close 4th. Back to the studio. Oh, and before I forget, I've actually teamed up with Tony D2 Wild for a giveaway where I'm giving away this pair of sneakers that I'm reviewing in today's video, and he's giving away a pair of military blue 4s. Entering these giveaways for these sneakers is really easy. All you need to do is subscribe to both of our channels, like both of our videos. I've made sure to link his video in the top of the description below. Follow us on IG, again, linked in the description below. And then comment done on both of our videos with your Instagram handle so we can reach out to you. And please don't respond to random Instagram messages or YouTube comments claiming to be me or Tony saying that you've won. You haven't. The only way that you're gonna know if you've won is by watching our Instagram live stream on June 17th, where we randomly select winners. And of course, all this info is also in the description below, so make sure to check it out. So after having the shoes for a while and trying them on and all sort of good stuff, I've got to admit that I like these shoes way more than I thought I was going to. Not to say that I ever thought I wasn't going to like these shoes, but I really like these shoes a lot. I think these are one of the best Air Jordan 4s to drop this year. I mean, they're up there with the military blue 4s and the Bread Reimagined 4s, both really great sneakers that are probably going to be in the top 10 sneakers of the year list. Now, are they as good as these shoes? In my opinion, no, because they're not an OG colorway, but they are still very, very clean. Definitely a step up from the women's Vivid Sulfurs. I mean, not only are they better looking, but they're also better quality. And actually, something that I learned when I was reading some of the press materials about this shoe is that these are actually technically Air Jordan 4 Remastered, meaning that they're kind of similar to the Reimagines in that they're a slightly different take on a classic silhouette. Obviously the Air Jordan 4, and this is releasing for the 35th anniversary of the Air Jordan 4, so it is actually a more premium version of the 4s. And as you look around this pair of Oxidized 4s, you'll notice that there are some pretty large differences between this shoe and a more standard pair of 4s like military blues. But don't worry, we're gonna get to all of that throughout the review. First, let's talk once again about the pricing for this sneaker and how you can get a pair for yourself. So the Air Jordan 4 Remastered Oxidized Greens release officially on June 15th for a retail price of $215. Now, when these were first announced, it was said they were going to release in May, and then they got pushed back to July, and now it looks like, based on the information that I'm getting from Nike, that they're actually going to release in June. And I mean, let's be honest, no matter when they release, they're going to be pretty popular because they're Air Jordan 4s and they're really clean. Now, if you're watching this review after these shoes have released and they've maybe sold out, or maybe you're watching this review now before they release and you want to grab them early, I've made sure to leave affiliate links to these shoes through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. I'm not surprised that Jordan Brand is releasing a lot of 4s this year because it's the 35th anniversary, but you've got to admit that the 4s that they have released this year have all been pretty solid. Like, this is just an all-around clean pair of sneakers, and you've got the Bread Reimagines, and you've got the military blues, so many good shoes, even the Vivid Sulfurs, a good colorway, a good shoe, good color blocking. Like, there hasn't really been a miss so far this year. I guess we'll see what happens with those RM 4s that are releasing later in the year, the bike 4s, but for right now, all winners. But at this point, why don't we dive a little bit deeper into the Air Jordan 4 Oxidized Green. So although the Oxidized Green colorway is new for the Air Jordan 4s, this colorway was actually inspired from the Oxidized Green 14s that first released back in 2005. And to be honest with you, I actually think it looks better on the 4s. I think it's a cleaner look. Not just because of the silhouette, I think the actual color blocking on this shoe just works better. But hey, that's just my own opinion. You guys can totally disagree with me on that. But getting into the materials that make up this shoe, around the mudguard, you've got this really nice tumbled white leather. And what's nice about this tumbled leather is that the texture is very visible and it's super wrinkly. It feels really nice to the touch. It's actually softer than the military blue 4s leather. I mean, if you look at the military blue 4s, it's just kind of your standard Air Jordan 4 leather, but these oxidized greens definitely feels higher quality, which makes sense why they call these the remasters, because they are remastered from a standard pair of 4s. Moving up at the toe of the sneaker, you've got more of that white tumbled leather that actually wraps around a majority of the upper of the shoe. And then on the bottom of the tongue, you've got your classic Air Jordan 4 netting in white, and beneath that, you've got this really nice dark green mesh. Actually, the color blocking on this shoe is very similar to the military blue 4s, except obviously in green instead of blue. Continuing up on the shoe, you've got these green plastic eyelets that are both on the bottom of the tongue and the top of the tongue. And what's nice about these green plastic hits is that they actually feature that same sort of like candy print iridescent look that you have in the midsole of the shoe. And it shines really nicely in the sun. It gives the shoe a little bit more glisten, a little bit more interest to it. I really dig that. Beneath that hit, you've got more tumbled white leather on the eye stay of the sneaker, and then weaving through the eyelets of the shoe, you've got these flat white laces. Now, unfortunately, inside the box, they only give you one set of laces, and that's this white set of laces that's already in the shoes. I wouldn't have minded a set of dark green laces, even though I probably would have just worn this shoe with the white laces, because I usually just wear my shoes with whatever laces come in the shoe. But for a pair of shoes you're paying $215 for, it would have been nice to have the option, although it's not that difficult to go on Amazon and buy extra laces. Continuing up in the tongue, things switch from that netting and that mesh to a white tumbled leather, and then of course stitched into the front of the tongue, you've got this patch with the Jumpman and I guess oxidized green or forest green or dark green, whatever you want to call it. And then just beneath that, you've got the flight text. However, the flight text is kind of difficult to see because it's embroidered into the tag in this white color, so you barely see it. Not a big deal. deal, but an interesting choice. I wonder why they went for the flight text if you couldn't even see it. Doesn't really matter though. Moving towards the back of the tongue, you've got more of that dark green color on the sock liner of the shoe. Of course, you've got your upside down Air Jordan tag because people used to flip their tongues out when they would wear Air Jordan 4s. And then the rest of the sock liner comes in that same pretty soft green sock liner. I actually kind of dig that. It's sort of almost like a neoprene feeling material. Then rounding off the inside of the shoe, you've got more green on the insole and a white Jumpman printed on the heel. Again, as far as sizing goes, this shoe fits pretty much true to size, and that's what I'd recommend if you were grabbing the shoe for yourself. It really fits a lot like the military blue 4s or the bread 4s or really any pair of recent Air Jordan 4s. So if you have a pair of recent 4s like the military blues, try those on, go with that size, and you should be good to go. If you don't, go true to size and you should be just fine. Continuing back in the sneaker, you get to that sort of midfoot ventilation area that you find on Air Jordan 4s. Again, it comes in white netting and then of course your dark green mesh underneath, which provides some nice contrast. Not every pair of Air Jordan 4s uses that as a contrast hit, and I like it on this shoe. Running over top of that, you've got this white leather wing that holds the lace eyelets. Usually this detail is made in some sort of like rubbery TPU, but for this shoe, because it's the remastered 4s, it comes in leather. It actually reminds me a lot of the Air Jordan 4 Columbias, I think is what they were called. I don't remember exactly what people called them, but they came out in 2015. I had a couple pairs. I actually had 2 pairs of them, and they both featured this leather hit right here. Obviously they would, they're the same shoe. But that shoe is also a more premium version of the Air Jordan 4s, so not surprised to see that detail making a comeback on this shoe. I'm sure it's come back multiple times since 2015, but this is the most recent example of that hit. I actually kind of like when it's leather. I'm glad that not every Air Jordan 4 made this a leather hit, but it does make the shoe feel like a more lifestyle-friendly silhouette. Moving towards the back of the shoe, you get to another detail that was TPU and they switched out for leather, and that of course is the heel tab. This time around it comes in a white tumbled leather, and it also features this sort of like clear plastic Jumpman that sort of bursts through the middle in a green color. That was a weird way to describe it, but it is a 3D Jumpman and it kind of pops out the middle and you've got stitching around the outside, which is like wild that they could do that. That's like a really small stitching hit. No text underneath the Jumpman, just the plasticky Jumpman. And again, that's the same thing that you found on those 2015 Legend Blue 4s. So it's cool to see that come back. And actually, interestingly, at the top of the heel tab, you've got that textured hit, which you have on all Air Jordan 4s, except instead of being molded into the material like it is on standard 4s, you've actually got what seems to be like little, I don't know, plastic inserts that make it kind of bubble out like that. Kind of cool. Then we move down on the sneaker to the midsole, which features this sort of split midsole. You've got this candy green on the top half of the midsole, which looks amazing. It really looks like an automotive finish. I love that. It's got this really nice speckle and sparkle to it. And then just beneath that, you've got this off-white colored hit just painted on the back half of the midsole. Nice contrast, and I guess on the medial side, it's also all the way around the midsole. I really love the finish of the green on the midsole. It really feels like you're touching car paint. It's just different for Air Jordan 4s. It's not something you see a lot on this sneaker, and I dig it. I really, really like it. Then moving towards the bottom of the sneaker, you've got your rubber outsole that comes in white, green, and gray, kind of your standard Air Jordan 4 outsole, except instead of Nike in the middle, you've got your Jumpman sort of facing towards the front of the shoe. Actually, he's facing the medial side of the shoe, but the ball is pointing towards the front of the shoe, so there you go. Man, I don't know. I really like this shoe a lot. This is a very, very clean pair of Air Jordan 4s, and I don't think they're going for much on the resale market right now. In fact, in almost every size, if you're willing to wait for standard shipping, they're under retail. Size 9 is $202, size 10 is $189. That's insane. Guys, if you want to grab this shoe, it's for sale under retail right now through the affiliate links on your screen. But whether you're buying this shoe for retail, for resale like I bought it for, or even under retail, I think the Oxidized Green 4s are one of the best sneaker releases of the year. Is it in the top 10? Probably not. In my opinion, this shoe is probably going to be in the top like 25 for the year, but genuinely a clean all-around sneaker, and I recommend picking it up. If you like 4s, you're gonna love this shoe. But hey, let me know your thoughts on this shoe in the comment section down below, and whether you're planning to grab a pair of these for yourself, or maybe whether you already did grab a pair. Let me know in those comments. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.